Hey guys, welcome to another tutorial video on my YouTube channel. My name is Mr. Olo and this is Vic's Tutorial. So in today's tutorial video, we are going to be seeing how we can come about a very good social media design. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Okay, so I have this design here which I got from a Facebook page. Okay, so the design is not bad, but I just feel that there are certain things that we need to fix in this design to make it simple, and that's why I have my resources here with me. Okay, so I have my resources here with me that I will be using for this particular tutorial. So if you want to follow along, make sure to check the description of this tutorial video and download the resources. So now that we have this design, now we have, let's say a layout or a direction we're going to take, but I just want to make it more simple, bolder, and a bit nicer. So we're just going to jump right in. And moreover, this tutorial video was based on let's say a request, because I actually used this tutorial video to teach someone, one of my physical students, and I uploaded it on my WhatsApp status, and a lot of people requested for a YouTube tutorial. So here you have it. So as usual, I'll create my, should I say, canvas or my workspace. So I usually work with 1000 by 1000 pixels. So let me quickly create my 1000 by 1000 pixels. So I'm just going to do that, and there I go. And the next step I'm going to take is to power clip all of these things inside of it. So I'm just going to right click, power clip, and I'll power clip it inside, and then I'll remove the outline, and then I double tap to go into my power clip, and there we have it. So now I will now create the main canvas or the main background that I'll be using as my base, or my base background, anyone you want to call it. So there we go, and there I have it. So let me quickly draw out an outline, and now we have it. So the next step I'm going to take is, if you look deeply inside, or if you look properly inside this design, you could carefully see that this down part has this a little bit of light blue. Okay, light blue, and this part is white. So that means we're going to be applying a sort of gradient in this particular design. So the first step I'm going to take is to go over to my interactive fill tool in CorelDRAW. This is the tool you use in applying gradients to your design. So I'll go over to my interactive fill tool, or you just tap the G on your keyboard, okay, so that it can be activated, and then I'm going to drag it according to the angle of this gradient. So I'm just going to drag it this way, and there I have my gradient. So the next step I'm going to take is to give this part a little bit of the blue. So I'm just going to come down here, okay, and I'm going to select this black one here, and I'm going to click here also, and I'm going to click on my color eyedropper tool, and I'll pick on this blue. Okay, so now we have this. So the next step is to now remove the background of the outline of this. Okay, so but in the meantime, if you noticed, this is a bit lighter, okay, compared to ours that is way more darker. So what we are simply going to do is to adjust the gradient. So we are simply just going to adjust this a little, then we are going to stretch this all the way down here, and you can see it's becoming a bit lighter to give it that more blended feel. And we're going to adjust this and drag this more. I think this is okay. Yeah, I think this is okay. So we have that a bit lighter form, and there we go, and we can just click on our pick tool. The next step is to start imputing our text and shapes and everything. So what we have here, let me bring this to this part. So I'm going to bring this way so I can quickly write whatever it is that I need to write. Let's just adjust. So now the first step is we have providing you with. So I don't really know the fonts that was used here, so I'm just going to use Jaggly for this particular tutorial. So providing you with. So I'm just going to type in providing you with. So now, since we have this, let me adjust the alignment. So there we go. So I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to search for Jaggly. Okay, so I've been able to get my Jaggly font. So now I'm just going to adjust it properly. Okay, Then the next step is to draw out a rectangle, which you'll be using for the enclosing of this providing you with. So I'm just going to draw a rectangle this way, something like this, and I'm going to color it blue. Okay, then I'm going to bring this into it this way, but you can see that it's the text is below the shape. So what I'm going to do is to press shift page up on your keyboard, and it comes up, and I'll color it white. So I will reduce it a little bit, then select it while holding my shift. While I've selected my text, I'll hold my shift key and tap on the rectangle, press my E and C to properly adjust it, well, both properly center align it horizontally and vertically. That is for your C and E. So now we've done this, I'm just going to make a duplicate of this, color it blue, and I'm also going to call it fashion. I'm going to call it fashion clothing. So I'm going to write in fashion clothing. So I'm just going to tap on my enter key in order to bring it below. So however, as you can see that the line spacing here is too much. Okay, the line spacing, let me align this, select this and press L to align to the left. Now if you look at very well, you can see that my line spacing here is let's say is too much. Let me remove this background for now so I can properly work here. So you can see that my line spacing is too much. So in order for me to reduce my line spacing, I just tap on the F10 key on my keyboard to bring out my shape tool, which will enable me to close up this space, the line spacing, to work on the line spacing and even the kerning. For those of you who don't know about this, you can use your F10 key, that's your shape key, sorry, your shape tool. Your F10 on your keyboard is the shortcut to your shape tool. To your shape tool. So you use to adjust both the line spacing and the kerning. So if you don't know this, now you know. So now we've adjusted this. So the next step is to enlarge it, to make it bigger a little bit, 2 bits to this point. Don't worry, we are still going to reduce a lot of things later. So now we have a little text here which says when you contact us. So we are going to just write in our own something a bit cool. Contact us for, you don't really have to use theirs, contact us for your designer's clothes, sneaker shoes, men wears, and lots more. So now we have this. So we're just going to give it the color black. Okay, we're just going to give it the color black, and we are going to reduce it. Okay, then not just reducing alone, we're also going to change the font to something more of a sans serif. So let's go with okay, so I'll be using the Plus Jakarta Sans Bold. The Plus, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, the Plus Jakarta Sans Bold. Don't worry, all the resources will be made available to you in the description. So then maybe I'll try and work on the text, maybe break this part, and then also work on the kerning, sorry, on the line spacing, and I think this is okay. Don't need to make it too closed up. So now we are done with this part. So we are going to select all of them and bring them up here. But in the meantime, we have to make sure everything is properly aligned to the left. It's very important that alignment, or should I say alignment, is a key factor in your design, and then we can reduce this and then bring it down a bit to this point. Don't worry about this logo design. We don't really need to put their logo. Okay, it's not really necessary. So we are just going to drag this box down here, okay, because now we need to impute this. We sell sneakers and the rest of them. So we're just going to drag this. Sorry, no, not really. So we're going to make a duplicate of this, our text, and color it white, give it the white color, and then write we sell. Now you're going to enlarge it a bit. You're going to enlarge it a bit, and maybe go over to our font and give it a more bolder weight. So let's say extra bold. So we're going to select it, E and C, to make sure it is properly align vertically and horizontally. So now we sell, and the next part is another box down showcasing what they have to offer you. So you're going to make a duplicate. So to make a duplicate, to easily make a duplicate, okay, let's say for example now we want to make a duplicate of this particular element, okay, so that we don't go about drawing a whole new box, writing a whole new text from scratch, or trying to come about the whole size and everything. We just have to highlight everything about that text, okay, or about that element, drag while holding down your shift to make sure that everything is aligned properly to the previous one you're trying to duplicate from. I don't know if this is a bit complicated for you. So now we are going to drag, okay. Now as everything is still, you're still dragging while holding down your left key on your mouse or on your trackpad, you right click, and then automatically you've been able to duplicate that easily without having to use Ctrl D, which makes you duplicate out of place. For example, if we're to duplicate this, you can see it's out of place using the Ctrl D, but we want to duplicate everything to remain in the same alignment and axis with what we have there. So we're just going to increase this a little bit and drag this down a bit, and then we are going to write in sneakers. Okay, we're going to write in sneakers, boxers and trousers So we are going to give a little bit of space because this box is a bit everything is a bit too jam-packed, so we are going to bring a little bit of space, and then we are going to select this and this. But before we do that, we need to make sure we put in all these indicators, like these little circles that was here to indicate each element or each product that they sell. So to do this easily or effortlessly, we are going to break this text apart using Ctrl K to make each text singular, and then we are just going to drag a little circle and we are going to color it white. And then now we've been able to do that, we can now easily align this circle to this one, pressing E to make it properly aligned to the center. Then we drag, make a duplicate, select it with the box, press E to make it properly aligned, and then we drag again to the trousers, select it with this holding shift, and we align to the center. And then we can select everything, group it with Ctrl G. Now holding your shift key, you select the box and press E and C, and everything should be in this manner. But in the meantime, we need to try and reduce the font weight, because now we are talking about hierarchy, so we need to reduce the font weight of these products. So we go over here and we choose we can choose the medium. Yeah, the medium should work fine. And then we can select everything back, Ctrl G, E and C, and there we go. And we've been able to get this. Now we have to reduce this a little bit, something like this. Moreover, it's a social media design, okay, so people are definitely going to see it while looking at their phone screen. You don't really need to make things so enlarged. So the next step is to put in how they can be contacted. Okay, I'm just going to use only the phone number. I don't want to really waste much of our time. So we're going to select this, drag down here, make a duplicate, and put in the phone number. So we're just going to put in a random phone number. So we're going to put it plus 234-8022334455. That just should do it. So we're now going to enlarge this a little bit or stretch it. Select this and this, E and C, to make sure it is properly aligned to the center. So now that the write-up, let's say the write-up is done. Okay, let's enlarge this a bit. Okay, now that the write-up is done, if you notice, there is a sort of a gradient here, a darker blue this part and a lighter blue this part. So in order for you to do that easily is to also go back to your gradient tool. But in our case, I'm going to make it a bit sharper and more elegant, in the sense that I'll be applying the gradient to so many other visual aspects of this particular design. So what we are simply going to do is to go over to our interactive field, and let me say I want to select on this first. Okay, and I'll just go over to this gradient and I'll drag it this way. Okay, now I'll click on this, come over here. Okay, I've already had the darker shade of the blue, which is this. Now you can also select the darker shade by, maybe let's say you select on this, you can also select the darker shade by going over to this part, and maybe you can just drag it down where you can find a darker shade of blue. But I've already done that for me, so I'm just going to use the one I already prepared before. And there you have it, you have a darker shade. So instead of you now going over repeating the same process for everywhere you want to apply the gradients, all you just simply need to do is tap on that box that already have the original gradients and just come over here, drag the fountain into anyone you want, just drag into anywhere you want the gradient to be applied. And then I want to also apply it to this text, and I just drag and apply it, and there you go, easy peasy, straight to the point. So and now we've done that. I think the remaining part is, let's see what they write, offering you the best quality. Okay, let's just leave that aside. So the next part is to now work on our shoes, because that is one of the most important parts. Now we can bring back our background into the stuff. I think our background is still a bit too bluish, so let me easily adjust this a little bit by dragging this and dragging this too. Okay. Okay, so let's just adjust. I think this is fine by me. Okay, I think this is fine by me. Yeah, this is okay. So okay, this is okay. So now our shoe, we have to edit this shoe a little bit. Now don't mind this white part, it doesn't matter. So we need to edit this shoe, okay, because if we just use this shoe alone here, it doesn't really make sense. Okay, it doesn't really make sense. Let's put it up, shift page up. Now I would have loved to work with this shoe in this manner, but I feel it's going to make the design to feel out of place. That is one thing about design. You have to be keen to detail. Okay, don't just say, oh, this is a very nice shoe, and I can work with this shoe like this, and nothing spoils, nothing happens. But the truth of the issue is it actually matters. So it's very important that as a designer you are keen to detail, because detail is everything. Detail is design. So now this is where a little bit of photo editing comes in, a little bit of photo editing. Now I'm not going to be going over to Photoshop to do this. I'm just simply going to do a little bit of photo editing right here in CorelDRAW. So I think I have a screenshot for that. Okay, I have a screenshot for that. So let me quickly pop it up. So yeah, this screenshot will also be made available to you guys. Okay, so that you can see the digits, okay, how I was able to get the photo editing that we are going to be doing now. So you can be able to see the numbers, everything, how I was able to get it, how I was able to manipulate the temperature, the tint, the saturation. Okay, I didn't work on the tint, so the saturation, the contrast, and the shadows, in order for me to get what we'll be getting very, very soon. So I'm just going to go over here, and I'm going to drag my shoe out, and I'm going to simply go over to Effects, and I'm going to go to Adjust, and I'll go over to Image Adjustment Lab now. And now I'm in Image Adjustment Lab. So let's work now. So now let me use the digits here. So we have 77680, and then for the tint, nothing. For this one, for the saturation, I had 70, and then for the contrast, okay, for the contrast I had 67. And then for the shadows I had -77. Okay, so now we've been able to get that. Okay, this was 169. Okay, 7689. Now we do that, and we click on OK, and our photo, a little bit of photo editing is done to the shoe. So let me copy this, then press Ctrl Z to undo, and you can see the difference, the before and the after. You can now see the before and the after, and that was how I was able to get that little bit of photo manipulation by changing, especially I really worked on the temperature, and then the saturation, and then the contrast, and then the shadows. So that was how I was able to get this, to change this to this so easily. So I'm just going to drag this in now, and then I'm going to rotate it to stand vertical in this manner. Okay, I want to make it a bit straight, something like this, and then I'm going to enlarge it. I'm I'm going to enlarge it. Okay, now for the sake of this text we have here, let me reduce this a little bit. Okay, I guess I'm going to reduce this text later on or at the end of the day. So let me quickly make some changes here. Yeah, that's dope. Then I'm going to make sure it is aligned properly to the bottom of this box here. So I'm just going to select this and select this. I'm going to press B. Okay, now why this didn't work is because of the space. It's a little bit of canvas here in the stuff, so I think I'm just going to manually edit it myself and just drag it manually and just make sure I get what I'm looking for. So I guess I'm just going to come over outside of my power clip, and I'm going to drag this bottom here. So I'm going to leave it down here somewhere around here. Then I'll manually go in and then maybe adjust this to fit into what I want. I think I've been able to get it. Okay, so I'm going to now delete that ruler. And I'm going to increase this a bit now. Now there's a reason why I'm doing this. Now why I'm doing this is because I want to be able to, like, okay, let's say bring this above it to create this effect, okay, to give it this effect. But I think I'm having a bit of problem because the space here is a bit too much. Okay, the space here is too much. So how do I reduce or remove that space? So there's a little bit of stuff I'm going to do here to reduce that space. So what I'm simply going to do is to make sure I find a way to separate this particular shoe from this one and then, you know, bring them a bit closer. So I'm going to do that briefly. So what I'm going to do now is I'll make a duplicate. Okay, now the duplicate, let me make another duplicate. Now why I'm making this duplicate is because I need to cut out, for those of you who know about trimming in CorelDRAW, I'm going to trim out one part, trim out the other part, and then manually bring them close together. So what I'm going to do is to come over to my rectangle and I'm going to draw a bit across this shoe, this particular one. I'm going to draw a bit across this one. Okay. Now I'm going to use my shape tool to manually adjust the nodes of this one in order for me to trim out this part. So now if I go over to my shape tool, I'm going to have this. I won't be able to manually adjust the node. So what I'll do is I'll convert it to what? To curve. So using Ctrl Q, I can now manipulate each node like this. So I can now manipulate each node in this format. So now all I need to do now is, as my my rectangle is selected, I select on the shoe and I trim, and that part is removed. So I'll come over here and do the same to this other side. Now work on the nodes. Work on the nodes. So this is to make sure that I get everything I need correctly. Make it curved a bit. So I'm going to curve it a bit and then select this and I trim. So all I need to do is manually take this part. Yeah, you might be seeing all those stuff, but now I can easily adjust it a bit closer to each other. Now what I do is select the both of them. So I'll just select the both of them like this, and then I'll group them. Okay. After grouping, I'll bring them here, and now I'm a bit, yeah, you might have this sort of complications, but it doesn't matter. Now you can see I can freely now increase this to however I want, okay, without obstructing this our little text here. Then adjust it a bit, and then I can bring this above. And voila. So the next step is to add a bit of depth to these particular sneakers we have here. And to do that, we have to apply shadows. So to simply apply shadows, many of you know many ways of applying shadows. Some of you might decide to just go to the shadow tool and do whatever you want to do. But no, there's some other ways you can make it better. So just go over to your circle, to your ellipse tool, draw a bit of an ellipse. You can give it the blue, remove the outline, go over to effects, go over to blur, and you go over to Gaussian blur. And then you can apply a bit of blur. Now, once you've gotten something like this, now this is a bit too, unrealistic. So we are going to make it a little bit realistic. So we are going to maybe do something like this. Maybe reduce it to this point like this. Let's say something like this. Now, this isn't nice, all that nice. So we're going to go back to our transparency tool, and we are going to transparent it a little. Okay, so let's say we make it a bit more circular. But because it's two shoes, let's just leave it this way. Okay, then we go back to our effects and adjust the blur. We go back to effects and we can adjust the blur to make it a bit more realistic. And now we've done that, I think we adjust, and there we go. It's now a bit more realistic, right? So now we can come over to our transparency and maybe make it just 70. I think that's better. So now that we have that here, there you go. And we've added depth to our design. So I'm just going to take this, group it together, and then drag it down a bit to this point. And there we go. Easy peasy. And we've been able to create a very fantastic design, or social media design as the case may be, in CorelDRAW. So that is how we can easily do this. So we just press Ctrl G, and maybe we can just align it like this. Okay, that will be too okay. Right? For the sake of logo design, we can just put in any logo design of our choice, and we can get on with it. Okay, so for the sake of this tutorial, I just brought in my logo design. So let me just say I decide to go with this blue, I guess, or maybe this lighter blue, and just properly align it. And there's something else we can do. Let's ungroup. There's something else we can do. We can maybe make a duplicate of this shoe. Okay, we can make a duplicate of this and maybe blur it, do a sort of should I say, let's see if we can crop it first. Yeah, we can be able to crop it. So now we've cropped it to reduce some extra unnecessary stuff. Let's see if we can crop it more to reduce some extra unnecessary stuff. Okay, so now we have a better canvas. So we can ungroup this and maybe remove this one. Just drag this one in here. Be adjust. Okay. I can put this here. Now we can take this, make a duplicate, come over to effect. We can go over to blur. We go over to motion blur, and let's blur the shoe. Anyway, let's put it here. I'm making a duplicate, and then we can rotate. After rotating, we reduce, and then we can come over to effect, blur, Gaussian blur, and reduce the blur. Okay. Now this is if you want. Okay, it's not like it's a must. You must add this. This is if you want. And I think we are done with this design. Okay, we missed something out again. This, shift the page up, and there we go. We are done for this particular tutorial design. So there we have it on how to design this simple flyer design or social media design for a client, or for maybe, you see, I didn't have to put in a lot of shoes and place them in a more scattered format, or if at all he had used only the shoe or only the shoe sets, maybe that would have been better. But there is no sort of arrangement. There's no sort of arrangement. The whole thing is just a bit more scattered. The whole thing is too scattered. So I believe this just makes it easier. I didn't change much, okay? I didn't change much, but all I just did was to make it simpler and more elegant. And in so doing, I believe this tutorial video will also teach you how to create a sort of a little bit of photo editing that you can use on CorelDRAW without actually going over to Photoshop and then coming back to CorelDRAW and going back and forth. So that is it for this tutorial. If you love this, make sure to hit the like button so that more people can see this. And if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure to do that, as this helps us to grow and make us create, it encourages us to create better and more tutorial videos like this for you. So I'll be leaving you guys here, and until the next time, stay safe and stay healthy. Make sure to be creative. And if you want to improve your skills in graphic design, click on any of the videos showing on your screen. Namaste.